Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be, just so y'all know, I notice I do this a lot. There's a window right there, and I look out all the time because there's a huge tree right outside, and there's just squirrels and birds, and they're living their best life, and they distract the shit out of me. So I'm going to try not to look out that window for the rest of this video. So today, I'm going to be doing what I did last year that kind of failed, and I'm going to be setting myself some bookish goals and some channel goals for the year of 2020 and hopefully accomplishing them. Last year I kind of bottomed out in terms of making videos and being a human being in around July, so I set goals, checked in with those goals, realized I was failing the majority of those goals, and then quit, essentially. This year, I'm setting some goals, and you know what? We gonna achieve those goals because I need something, okay? I need something this year, universe. Please help me. So to start off, I will go over my bookish goals and then my channel goals, and I have personal goals that I set for myself outside of YouTube and outside of like the booktube community as well. I won't be going over those in this video because I feel like y'all are here just for the book side of things. But, you know, if you're interested in hearing like what I'm doing with my life outside of this, let me know because I can tell you. My first goal is a goal that I barely made it a third of the way through last year, and it is to read 100 books. Along with that is to actively track my reading progress on Goodreads, and I actually have a way to make that a little bit easier for myself this year. For my birthday and for our anniversary and Christmas, Mike actually got me a tablet. So I have Goodreads on here, I have my Twitter for this channel on here, and I have my YouTube account for this channel on here as well. Everything's just right here so I can grab it. I don't have to sit down at a computer, and I don't have to take up the limited space that I have on my very ancient phone to do it, so I think I will do better at that this year. In terms of the 100 book goal, that breaks down to reading about 2 books per week for the entire year. I am already on track with this goal. I just need to stay consistent, and that brings me to my next goal for 2020 with reading, and that's to be more consistent. I have a problem where I have like 300 hobbies. I read, I paint, I sculpt, I draw, I am actively playing Dungeons and Dragons, I have a friend group outside of work that I want to hang out with all the time. And, you know, I have a boyfriend, and I love cooking, and I go to the gym, so I have a lot of crap that kind of gets in the way of meeting 100 books in a year. What I'm going to be doing to solve that is designating a time in the evenings on specific days of the week, where if I don't have time to read throughout the week, those times are designated for reading. The other thing I'm going to be doing to stay consistent with reading is keep bringing a book to work. I stopped doing that and started watching like movies and like videos on my phone at work. So instead of doing that, I'm going to go back to reading on my lunch breaks. So hopefully I can stay a little bit more consistent with my reading this year. One of the next goals that I have for myself is to use my library more often. I spend an ungodly amount of money on books, and you will see just how many of them like never really get read or used or anything like that in my next video, which is an unhaul video. So I am going to attempt to curb my impulse to buy every pretty new book that comes out, and instead see if they have it at my library or see if I can access it through the digital library apps that I now have downloaded on my tablet. My next goal, I actually started doing this last year and I did fairly well with it. I would like to continue with it this year, is to actively read more adult or new adult science fiction and fantasy. I love young adult fantasy. I love young adult science fiction, but I am 28, and there are moments where I realize that the book that I'm reading is not actively being written for me, and that might be a reason why I'm not connecting with it or why I'm not enjoying it. It's because it's not for me. Young adult is not written for almost 30-year-olds, and so when I see a lot of almost 30-year-olds complaining about young adult or about the way characters are whiny, or they're teenagers. Yes, of course they're whiny. My memory card decided to actively shit the bed as I was ranting. Yes, of course a teenager in a book is going to be whiny or might be impulsive or hot-headed or whatever. They're a teenager. You were a shitty teenager at some point too in your life, and the books that you are reading are not being written for adults. That is such a wild concept that I feel like some people just do not understand. So for me, I am having moments while I'm reading where I am actively realizing maybe this is not for me anymore. So I'm going to attempt to broaden the scope of my reading and include more adult science fiction and fantasy, and see if maybe that's why I'm not necessarily enjoying young adult at this point in time. A lot of the themes in young adult are being recycled right now. A lot of, the tropes and things like that are being used frequently, and that's because that's what the teenager of right now and the young adult of right now is actively reading. So publishers publish more of that. It is, how it works. So I'm going to try and read some adult or new adult science fiction and fantasy this year and keep enjoying reading instead of actively sabotaging myself and reading books that I might not like. What a concept. Another goal that I would like to attempt to keep up with that I did a pretty good job with last year is to do some readathons. I did 3 last year, and I didn't finish one of them, and that was kind of when I stopped functioning. So I would like to participate in readathons this year. I know they are very draining to run. I also know that they're very draining to participate in because you read a shitload of books and you have to really stick to what you're doing. So I'm going to do my best. I would like to participate in some because I think they're a huge community event that happens on BookTube, and I think pretty much everyone at this point has some sort of readathon that they're hosting. So I would like to participate because I know that it's way more fun to get involved in the community when there's a structured event. Moving on to my channel specific goals for this year, I don't have a lot of them, and again, it's because I find that about halfway through the year, I start to slump pretty hard in just everything if I don't achieve really strong out the gate. So I'm going to set myself some goals that I feel like are really achievable, because I kid you not, I watched so many 2019 videos of how did I do with my goals in 2019, and almost every single person that set themselves goals in 2019 did not have a good year in 2019. The majority of the videos I was watching, people were like, well, failed that, well, didn't do that. So I don't feel as bad, but I do think that I also need to set myself achievable goals in 2020 so that when I look back on this video, I don't sit there and go, I'm a failure. So my first channel goal is going to be to upload once a week. I know that there are plenty of content creators out there that upload more frequently than that. I might upload more frequently than that, but I am going to be setting myself Wednesdays at noon. I would like to have videos every single Wednesday. I have Wednesdays off pretty typically, so it would make the most sense to me to have a video up so that I can interact with everyone when it gets posted. I know that Wednesday at noon, most people are either at work or school, but it is the time that works best for me, so I am going to be uploading Wednesdays at noon, my time. My next channel goal is I would like to post at least one review video regarding a book I read at least once a month. I might do more than that, but I also just want to preface this by saying my reviews are totally not what most people think of as reviews, because I don't sit there and get real critical about books. I don't read hypercritically. I think the only book I have ever read that I read like super hypercritically the last year in 2019 was The Martian by Andy Weir, and I was put off so much by annotation and book notes, by the way it was taught in school for me. It made me actively hate reading. So I don't want to dip my toes into anything that's going to cause me to fall off the deep end. But essentially I want to have a book chat about a book that I read at least once a month. My last goal really for my channel is to be more active and more consistent with posting. I want to answer more comments from people. I also want to go and comment on more videos and just make more friends in the community. I have 2 very strong friends that I made last year, and I have some tentative connections with a bunch of others that I made, and I'm hoping to strengthen this year. My like real life goal is to just actually have like real friends that I can talk to about books that I'm reading, which I know is kind of sad, though, you know, living my best life. Those are my 2020 goals for my reading and for my channel. I think I can do this. I'm hoping I can do this. I'm well on my way to succeeding already, and fingers crossed that we all have a much better year than whatever the hell 2019 was. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helps to motivate you to set some goals of your own. If you have goals videos, I've probably watched them honestly, but go ahead and like let me know down below because I'll go watch them. I get hyper motivated by watching people say like, here's what I'm going to accomplish, here's what I'm going to do this year, I'm going to kick ass, because then I sit there and go, same bitch, yes. Even if it's like not even remotely close to what I want to do with my life, I'm just like absolutely supportive. So hopefully this helped out with your motivation for the year. And if you have a video that you want me to watch, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to interact with me more, leave me a comment. I also have an active Twitter account, which is weird, and hopefully getting back into Bookstagram this week. Why am I being Richard Nixon this whole video? It's the worst. I need manacles? Is that what they are? Handcuffs. I don't know. This video is exceptionally long. I love you for staying. Have a great rest of your day. Okay, bye!